I can't hear you for some reason. Is that just me?
Okay, hang on 1 second. USB. Oh my God, I have no idea. 1 second. Let's change this setting. Let's see if this will work. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. All right, cool. So this is the chakra that we are learning about today. Make sure I'm recording this. I just want to make sure that I did all of my ritual here to record. All right, so this is the Milky Chakra. Actually, we should have done this one yesterday because it is Archangel Christiel. And when we learn about the transpersonal chakras, they're outside of our body. So this one is behind the crown. So you'll see that this is from one of the books I highly recommend by Nevan Parr. It's called The Compendium of Kundalini. And he has the most amazing illustrations. And he's really how I learned about these. Well, in my when I was going through the cancer experience, my teacher did talk about the Viracocha, which is referred to as the eighth chakra. And I think we do that one tomorrow. But this one is connected to that Viracocha, which is a Peruvian term for the chakra that's above our head. This one is behind our head, and it's like 3 to 4 inches behind the center and the back of the head. And so it plays the most crucial role when we're doing the Kundalini awakening process. And I think it was one of you had asked about how you know you're in a Kundalini awakening process. Well, generally speaking, in your lifetime, it happens twice when you're in your Saturn return in your 30s, and then again when you're 65. So those are just the general timeframes, but it could also happen spontaneously at any time. Oops, I just realized my camera's not on. Sorry about that. And so anyway, I'm going to stick to my thing here. It is like our own personal moon, and it's opening results in having that psychic and telepathic communication ability. So people who are like tarot readers or really into the psychic realm and can see things and can foresee weather patterns and things like that, they have cleared their lower chakras. Some of us haven't. Some people have a natural ability to tap into it, but as if we're going through the regular development trajectory, we want to be clearing everything in the lower chakras consistently with our yoga practice and our kriya and just living our lives, because this is what is sort of the distribution center of all of the higher energies. So like when you get like a download or you use various like meditations, or I guess to ground it down, if you're using like psychedelic experiences or stuff outside of yourself, like ketamine, like all this stuff that people use as healing techniques, basically you're tapping into the causal arena, which is where all of those pictures of the psychedelic trippy stuff comes from. When you see people like depicting their like artistic visions of what it is to be on a mushroom trip and all this is actually information from that realm without a filter. So what this causal chakra does is it filters it based upon what we believe, based upon what we've been through, based upon our karmic energies. And so this one's a very interesting one because it is like our own personal moon. It's a milky color, Archangel Christiel, and it naturally stays open. It's really the silencing of the ego. It's the God self. Like if you do DMT, like I know that's super popular around here, like DMT, but when you do too much of that and it's not manufactured from an actual Kundalini awakening from within our inner pharmacy, it can become an imbalance and lead to like schizophrenic tendencies, which I'm just using those terms in my limited capability, but I don't actually truly believe in those labels. Those labels are just something that in our society, in our matrix, that we call the greater connection to other like dimensions outside of just the physical. So it really depends, like this is what this chakra is all about, is the chakra of perspective. And it roots into the six that works with the Anjna and the crown, but it's really more of like the Christ consciousness. So this is what it looks like, this activated golden diamond. And it is represent, well, actually more of the Soma chakra that we talk about tomorrow is activated by the visual of the Ankh, which is a true divine feminine and masculine sort of codex that comes together. But anyway, with this one, to stay focused on it, you can get absorbed in meditation and it just becomes like you feel a oneness with everything. And one of the reasons that I actually even got into this stuff and knowing about the transpersonal chakras is from my own personal, near-death experience. And so when you have the near-death experience, a woman named Anita Morjani actually wrote a book at the same, she had the same type of cancer that I had, but hers was like progressed to the point that she, actually passed out and was in a comatose and then went into the other realm, but she remembered it and then she wrote about it. And she was talking about how each of us sees exactly what our belief system is. So if we're, Radharani or Hare Krishna, well, we will see Krishna. If we, or Shiva, and if we are Christian, we will see Yeshua and these type of manifestations. And so this is part of the exit point that I was talking about the other, and the entry point of our soul. And so there's specific like gemstones, there's specific meditations. This is a very like meditative chakra to get into. So like when you're doing the third eye meditations, DNA activations and those type of realm, that's really what it is. But I'm very grounded. Like I like to stay in the lower chakras, as I've told you all. So I'm actually going to be combining this with movement. But in all actuality, like you can't, I mean, the movement is going to release the lower chakras, but there's no like yoga practice really for something that is like an ethereal chakra that's outside of our body. When we're doing the yoga practice, we're in our body. And so all it can really do is help tether us to help break the karmic patterns. So what happens is when we learn about the soul star chakra in the last day, this energy from the Merkaba and all of our past lives and how we travel in our past life, just as I understand it from reading about reincarnation. I didn't actually experience this in the NDE. In the NDE, I saw things, the tunnel, the flashing of your life before you, and potentially past lives and other things that I didn't really understand at the moment. And then that experience matched what Anita Morjani was writing about. She's really the only one that really wrote about it that I know of. I'm sure there's others that experience this. But as the genetic code comes down from lifetime to lifetime, this soul star chakra is very responsive to the Merkaba energy. So the light is just pouring in. It's like when you have a psychedelic experience, it's just pouring in. You can't turn the shutters off, it's just coming in. That's why some of us that have lower things to work through, we experience schizophrenia or psychosis or some of these other labels that we've given it. But in all actuality, in your spiritual self, it's being filtered through the command and control center, which is the distribution center called the Causal Chakra. So it's going to dictate which DNA codes are going to come activated, or like it's the amount of light that's coming in the body. So if you have a lot of like blockages or karmic things that you've been through that you've suppressed and haven't really worked through, it can only go as far as what you've done. If you have worked through a lot and come to that Kundalini spiritual awakening where you do have like the shakes and all that, or a moment of time where you see the fabric of the universe, you can actually absorb that light and it facilitates an actual change that becomes lasting. So, and I always think about like, what's that movie with the dude? Like, I think it's like Lebowski or something. I'm just having flashbacks of my days when I used to watch these movies. But anyway, he like tripped on LSD or something. And then he came back and he was like spiritually enlightened and telling all of his friends who were like partying about it. Like that's the most basic way to really describe what happens. So Jesus's halo is depicted as this. That's actually what it is the causal chakra. Is like when you've ascended so much and that it's open so much that you have so much light coming in that you have a literal halo. So I've had like moments of this, but I can't say that that's something that I carry with me all the time. I definitely have other bloodline healing to do in my root and my earth chakra. So when you think about this one, it's actually a silvery, milky color. And this amazing podcast called the Telepathy Tapes. If you're really into this stuff, which I love this type of stuff because I think it really helps for karmic clearing and ancestral clearing. The Telepathy Tapes talk through children with autism who like are literally telepathic where they know what you're going to say before you say it. And so this doctor is just like documenting what's going on with this. And so they have a very open causal chakra. And I think Barbara Marciniak talks about this in Bringers of the Dawn, the book Bringers of the Dawn. It's like on my app under the audiobooks. But basically, like the children of this time, yes, you can say that like the vaccines are linked to autism, blah, 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 but there are going to be more androgynous, more autistic, more like on that spectrum who are coming in at this time. The energies are so like chaotic and confused almost like in our earthly energies. And so when these pure, I don't know what you want to call them, starseed rainbow souls come through, they come through with those quote unquote ailments, but it's because their physical body has a different chemistry makeup and is adjusting to the energies of what's going on now with all of the EMFs and the screens and all that. If you're Gen X like me, so like 84 and before the 1984, we have a different chemical makeup. So our pineal gland responds differently to different things. Sometimes the healing modalities are different. Like our kids are not going to need the same healing modalities that we have, although I think that yoga is like a forever ass thing as a human. That's just the world according to Leia, though. So what we do for this to actually activate and balance it is a very focused meditation, visualizing like a bright light behind the head. And some people like Bashar or like see, I have some other opinions about some of these channelers that do it from Lyra or other places. I really think sometimes they're attached to something outside of themselves. And it's another entity that is not a pure light force. Like to me, this is just the world according to Leia. You want to refer to the sacred texts. You want to refer to that which is like proven the test of time so that you can really trust it. Some of these newer ones, it's like, I don't know, you're 23 years old trying to tell me how to live my ass life, and I just don't jive with it. That's just me being old school, though. Who knows? Maybe they are light forces that other people can feel like related to. So, basically, when you are channeling things, you want to be real, you want to make sure that it's like from the purest place possible, from the purest place possible. So like when we talk about the higher chakras, sometimes they collapse in if we're avoiding our DNA work. It's really like an infinity sign. With Soma chakra, that's the chakra of truth that we talk about tomorrow. They all sort of blend together. It's hard for me to just talk about one, but like let's say that you're not like my husband, he says, well, I don't really like, I'm not going to get the DNA test because I just like don't, he literally like doesn't want to know why. I'm not really sure. I think he has maybe some guilt or something that his ancestors did some shit. I have no idea, but I'm like, you need to know that piece of yourself. Like my kids know more than he does because they've like channeled it, but he really attaches to the Filipino culture and my culture and like makes our food and stuff like that. And it's like, you got to also love your own DNA. If you don't, what happens is in this soul star chakra, which carries your genetic code from lifetime to lifetime, begins to collapse. You can only bring in so much light, and it causes things like suicidal ideation and other some sort of darker things like entity attachments and addiction patterns and things like that. So that's a function of the Viracocha or the soul star chakra, which we talk about as the last one, because it's really the gateway to there's like 22 other ones or whatever that Diane Cooper talks about, and some other people like Donna Eden. like some of the OGs really like went there and like experienced these other ones and like had the refinement to be able to communicate it to us. So I'm so thankful for it. But I think like with these younger children that are coming in, they really see the different dimensions because they're coming in so clear from those dimensional places. And I think that's where Shiva comes from. And, you know, some of the ones that are green, like Tara, like these gods that are depicted in other colors. I really like, I don't know, but I think it's like a physics thing of that they're actually from a different dimension and that the ancients are trying to communicate that to us through the artwork. So, you know, I love the grays or what, you know, I was like really into the aliens and stuff, but one of the things I saw on my last meditation on the beach was that these entities might not be the best entities. They're sort of a parasitic because they don't actually have a soul. They're like programmable, that they may not be 100% like these cute little bear-like beings. They could be a parasitic vampiric being. It was just a thought that I had during this meditation, because this woman was wearing an alien bathing suit and I don't know. It was just like the energy was like really weird. And normally I love the grays. So something in my causal chakra picked up on that. And I was like, that's something that needs to be cleared. It's not a pure, like the grays were not talked about in any of the ancient texts or anything like that, you know, but the homunculus was. So there's different things where the idea of them is still there. The idea that there is some sort of entity that is soulless that we've developed somehow, like the chimera, the half like what is that, a leopard and a human or whatever, when they're mixing genetic codes, that's really where it starts to get like this is some karmic shit we got to clear because it's beginning to be like muddled. So that's like, you know, when we have a lack of intuition, we're just getting like super power hungry to become these gods that create in that way, in the genetic way. So anyway, it could go really far off into that deep end, but I'm just going to start our Kriya now. Did anybody have anything else they wanted to share?
I do.
Is that Lacey?
Yes.
Awesome.
Also good Kriya yesterday. I did it later in the morning. That was really nice.
Yeah.
It was good. I wanted to say the grays, that's because the grays are more robotic. They're more
Oh, they are, aren't they?
they're more robotic and they're not as connected to the consciousness. They're in a different they're not as emotionally inept. We're more close to Pleiadian, Arcturian, so we have a more consciousness and we have more ability, but the grays, they are more robotic where they are less because they don't have the emotions, right? So they're more just taking orders of what is. Plus, they're the ones that are designed or they're the ones that are assigned to do the abductions. So they really
Oh my God, they are, aren't they?
they are. So that's why they're able to do it because they're not as emotionally connected to our consciousness because there aren't a lot of species that there's more people that are hybrid of Pleiadian and Arcturian than there are of Greys. But also what I was going to say is back to the kids, those types of children are called rave children, Rave. And even it, rave, yeah. And if you look up human design, it's talked a lot in human design too. So if you find out your human design, you're either a generator, manifester, manifesting generator, projector. Um, and a reflector. And it's all just a type of personality code. So you do need it's like your birth chart, but it's how your soul's blueprint. It's already a predetermined soul blueprint of what you came here to do to clear your karma. And so as our karma continues to reincarnate and clear and work, the children are going to have less karma to clear. So even though they may appear to have less communicative abilities, more autistic or more socially awkward. They're not. They're just tapped into higher realms where communication isn't so 3D, right?
Necessary. Right.
Yeah, so
Wow, that's super insightful.
they actually have more telepathic ability as opposed and if you watch stuff that starts to come through about the children. I've seen a couple videos where it's like these two kids are just sitting there and they're watching the earth, but they're sitting up in space and they're watching upon earth and they're like, oh, so how did you contribute to the earth? Da, da, da. And then they're sitting there, but they're not talking with their mouth. They're sitting there looking at each other, but having a telepathic conversation.
Whoa,
So,
that's wild. That's
yeah.
the telepathic tapes that I got really into.
Yeah, so
Oh.
just a fun fact, like as children come through and they may seem more autistic, they it's just a label and a box that medicine wants to put on kids that have these abilities to stop them be as you know, like they try to attack the more innocent souls and beings that are coming here, but really as they continue to come, they have less karma that keeps them chained to the 3D constructs.
Interesting.
And so that's all I wanted to say about that. So yeah, you could look up rave children, and it's not like rave, like Raven, but it's like they're RAVE, rave children. Yeah.
I'm definitely looking into that. And the reason I know that to be the truth is because of my nephew. He came in with extreme like World War II knowledge. He knows like every type of fighter jet. I mean, this kid was like
That's
6 months
cool.
old. And he was like telling us about Hitler and World War II, like all this different, it's like, and then they labeled him autism and they thought it was from the vaccines. And I'm like, it probably what, I'm like, man, I'm not getting
Yeah.
that for my kid. But he's actually like a boy genius and he's still, I just feel a lot of past life presence there of
Yeah,
that
for
he was
sure.
probably in World War II at some point. And he has like an OG name. His name's like Bennett. So anyway, that's when I started to really look into all this shit. And I noticed it in my own kids. Like it's just like, where did you guys come up with it? They just like know.
Yeah. They
So
just know stuff. Yeah.
yes, like I have to study it and I've got to become obsessed in order to just like to even understand the transpersonal chakras and the ones that go above the soul star. It's like I don't really, it just doesn't,
Yeah.
I don't know, for some reason it doesn't like resonate with me.
And it just goes into like Dolores Canyon too. It's the wave of healers that come here. So they're in the third wave of healers. Dolores Canyon is a good one for that too. She
That
doesn't talk.
older woman that does like hypnosis, QHHP or whatever. I've like heard of her. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's channeled Nostradamus and did a whole Nostradamus series of how Nostradamus has come through in the 80s to predict the things that are happening at this specific moment. So
Yeah.
it's
Cute.
trippy.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that. I'm gonna go down that Dolores Cannon hole. Like
Yeah, it's a good one, and like because it goes in alignment with Barbara Marciniak, so they both kind of feed off of each other. So
I
Bringers of the
see.
Dawn, yeah, Bringers of the Dawn is really good, and Dolores Cannon and Barbara Marciniak are both talking about similar
So
things.
that's what I'm saying is that those type of women and like Diana Cooper and Donna
Mhm.
Eden and even was the one that went like totally Jesus. She was like new age and then I forget her
Oh,
name.
Doreen Virtue.
Doreen Virtue. That
Oh
was
my
the
God.
OG. And I used to buy all her. I'm like, what happened? But I feel like they came in very angelic with a lot less karma than someone
Yeah.
like myself. And so they like have a really open like causal chakra back here and it just pours in. Like they're
But
literally
they weren't ready for it.
well, I don't know about Doreen Virtue might have just had too much density being alive in these times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they weren't ready for that shit. That's like one of the most powerful chakras, but then you're not ready to operate that
Yeah,
technology. So then it becomes
exactly.
overwhelming. I think that's what these people they have the breakthroughs of like they go back to being super religious is because I think that they unlock some shit that they're not ready for and they freak out because I've had a Kundalini awakening. I've like, there was a day I think I told you this, but like I just felt called to sit in my living room and I started heavy breathing and kind of rocking like how we do to start. And then I saw red. I was like looking up, my eyes were closed. I was looking up and I saw red and I saw each chakra light up and I felt the energy spiraling up. And it was like an orgasmic explosion out the top of my head. So if you have something like that, but you don't know what the fuck is going on or what you're unlocking, that might scare you to be like, okay, I need Jesus. But really, like, you are connecting with Jesus. You're connecting with the Most High. You are connecting with the Christ consciousness. So, I think people just don't understand what they're really getting into. And then they get into it and they're like, oh shit, what did I just do?
Oh,
I think people also just don't understand Christ consciousness. We
Yeah.
think it's very religious when it's like, it's really not that at all.
It's
Like,
really not.
it's the total opposite of that. So
Yeah, I agree.
wow, very insightful this morning. Thank you for all that. It's kind of like I'm like that, where it gets very overwhelming for me that I just like to move my body. I think like I was meant for these times in this way for that reason. And that's also a part of this kind of delves into the soul star and the soma chakra, is that like you kind of need to know why you're here. When you forget why you're here, that's when these chakras begin to collapse and you don't have access to that light anymore. And so like you tend to, like for me, I went through that and I sought sunlight. I'm like, I got to get the hell out of Detroit. This shit is like the demonic forces are stealing my soul in that portal at Hart Plaza. I'm sorry, that's just so funny to me because like it really does feel that way there. But I feel like the trees saved me there. And then when I was in the sunlight, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember now. And then I can like be in that higher space that kind of just carries you. People say that they feel it in Costa Rica. Sorry, the chat's kind of lit up right now and I haven't read it, but they feel it close to the equator because of those sun codes. I'm a millennial. Okay. I don't feel like I'm a millennial. All right. And but but I guess I am a millennial, the early millennial. I feel the same about Idaho. Yeah, Idaho. Idaho's got a healing energy to it though, Mona. All right, I'll go ahead and start now. So thank you for that share. Awesome. That's what I really love about these is that that's very insightful, Lucy. Super. I really love that y'all are just really in these higher, I'm really good at the low chakras. I got my root pretty mastered. All right. So we'll take a deep inhalation here. Deep exhalation. We'll just start by tuning in with Om Namo Gurudev Namo. I bow to those who came before you. And just some insight here now about the causal is that when we awaken that upper palate and like feel the reverberation in our pineal gland, this sort of like milky realm begins to like you'll feel your skull vibrating. And so I'm going to start with skull shining breath, but if it's a little like higher, too much energy, high energy in the morning, you can do breath of fire and root down. Take a deep inhalation and breath. Inhale. Hum, hum. Last one. Hum, hum. Reach the palms above the head on the inhale. And then on the exhale, go ahead and bring it back down. Really use the bottom of the shoulder blades here. Inhale. Tune into the back body. Exhale. So that causal chakra is in the back of the head. The soma chakra is actually in the front, the center. It's really the center of the brain. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and take your Sufi grinds here. One thing I wanted to share was also that when we're tapping into this chakra, and it's that infinity sign, it's going up from the earth and our gut, up to the throat, and then up to the head, and then back down. The dew governing vessel and the Ren conception. So it's creating that circuit and it just keeps oscillating. So if it gets stuck in the lower chakras, we experience more of the karmic pattern to be able to open it. These transpersonal chakras want to bring light through to us. And that's really what I've learned from these teachers who came before me. One of my teachers is experiencing extreme hardship right now, but he's like literally accessed this whole other realm of metaphysical things that I don't really fully understand. And when he comes back down to earth, he has to purify through his ego. And so that's what he's living through right now, even though he's made massive amounts of information and courses and had so much worldly success and made his even millions and billions. He finds himself essentially broke and essentially in another karmic cycle. So that's what this helps clear, is those karmic patterns, to remember why. Take a deep inhalation here. We're going to reach the palms above the head and the thumbs are going to come in. The thumbs are this place of will and determination to really keep us lifting up into the back of the heart to the crown of the head. Take a deep inhale. Deep exhale. Bring the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth for Kapala body breathing, or skull shining breath like this. Good job. Inhale. Exhale. The palms can interlace behind the head. You could take a circle with the sternum. Just balance out the head. Really bring the energy back down into the pelvic floor. One of the other depictions I had was the Virgin Mary and my statue of the Virgin Mary and the Santo Nino, which is like the baby Jesus. They're depicted with like an actual 7-point, what do you call it, halo. Some of them have the portal go all the way around the body in certain depictions. And so that's really what this is referring to. It mimics our physical body in the ether, but it's sort of like when you see a ghost apparition or whatever. I don't know if you want to call it a ghost, but it's like an entity. And then the head is really like an orb of light. And then like it's, you know, we see it as like a sheet over somebody's body or something. That's really what this is. It's that causal chakra expanding out. And the ghosts are those karmic patterns. They had some sort of emotional imprint that kept them tethered to their earth star chakra and to this land, to this dimension. And so even though they're not in the physical form, they keep coming back over and over again. And it happens with the trees here in Florida. That's what I really feel. I was talking about this, I think, with Phoenix yesterday about the land spirits and how whenever I go out into the woods here, it's like I see the land spirits, which are totally different than other angelic entities. They're more tethered to the land in the earth star chakra. Take your ring finger and your thumb. You're going to take a deep breath in. I'm using my dominant hand of the right. If you're left-handed, you want to use your left hand. You're going to plug the left nostril first with the ring finger and breathe in through the right. Clear out that masculine energy center. Exhale out. Inhale in. Plug the right, exhale the left. Inhale. Exhale. Plug the left, inhale the right. Exhale. Inhale. Plug the right, exhale the left. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Plug the left, exhale the right. Inhale. Plug the right, exhale the left. Inhale. Plug the left, exhale the right. Inhale. Plug right, exhale the left. This awakens all of our psychic channels. Plug left, exhale right. It tunes into that pituitary gland, the pineal gland, the soma chakra, and the causal chakra. And it prepares us to open, breathe in, that soul star gateway, which we can access through psychedelic experiences, DMT, and near-death experiences. Close the left, exhale the right. Inhale. And really the breath is the closest thing to this. Plug the right, exhale the left. Because the breath can take us into the body and it can take us outside of the body. Plug the left, exhale the right. Release the bind of the nose, breathe in both. And then we'll go ahead and take it to our quadruped on the hands and the knees. Round the spine here. Pull the belly button back. Take a circle with the back body and squeeze the belly. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale, lift the chest, sag the belly, lift the tail. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and curl the toes under, lift the hips up toward the ceiling. You can bring the forearms toward the earth. If this is a little too much, you can stay in that downward facing dog. But you're going to find the top of the head toward the earth. And you can just begin to transfer the weight into the forearms and the head. If you want to go ahead and take headstand and you feel ready, squeeze the belly, lift one of the feet off of the earth. If you want to stay in dolphin posture, you can stay in dolphin posture. One more breath in our headstand. Exhale, go ahead and release it down, pull the belly in and come to dolphin. Go ahead and straighten out the legs and come to Sphinx pose. So drop the hips and lift the chest. The elbows are underneath the shoulders here. Pull the collarbones apart. One more deep breath here. Go ahead and bring the knees underneath the hips and then bring the palms forward into a V or straight up for Anahatasana. Shoulders are going to come over the wrists. Go ahead and take cow posture. Exhale, cat pose. Exhale, cat. We're going to go ahead and cross at the ankle. Feet out straight. Vertebrae by vertebrae, you're going to make it onto the spine. On the inhale, lift the feet up toward the sky. Feel free to take a shake. And then on the exhale, you're just going to lift the shoulders off of the earth. This is just to root us down into our lower three chakras. Take a deep breath in. Reach the palms forward. The palms face one another. Deep breath out. Very good. Breath of fire like this. It's like a little lift with pulling down through the belly. And more. Very good. Go ahead and take the knees up. Go left to right. Supta Baddha Konasana. So the feet together, backs of the thighs toward the earth. So we're going to take what's called the ascension breath, or the breath that goes in and up. So it feels like breath of fire. The palms come next to the ears. And then on the inhale, you're lifting up. It can go into a V or it can go straight up. And then on the exhale, you're coming back down. For a breath of fire while you're laying down. So lock Mula Bandha, squeeze the feet together, press them together, and then send the backs of the thighs down. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Breath of fire like this. Channel the energy up from the base of that pelvic floor. And while we're laying down, you're going to really be feeling the energy moving up toward the skull. Ten more. Bring the knees in for a squeeze. You can roll them in a circle. The yogis call this merging with that causal chakra samadhi, or the state of ultimate bliss and oneness. And so there's different breathing techniques that help you reach that. I don't know if reach is the right word, but you can come into that state of samadhi through moving through the knots of the lower chakras and then clearing the upper chakras. One last breath. Take Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, palms next to the ears. Take a deep inhalation. Exhale or inhale, you can lift the palms above the head. Very good. Breath of fire like this. And just think of all of those patterns, the things that keep repeating over and over and over through different people or places or things, or thought loops that we actually have. Clearing from the etheric field now. You're clearing the template, or at least cleaning it up and becoming aware of it so that you can see it, so that you can clear it out and create new patterns. Go ahead and tether it down toward the thymus gateway, the heart chakra, palms on the heart. You can tap the heart or just rub this area. Really, the best posture to stimulate these higher chakras is shoulder stand. So you can lift the feet up and go into plow pose, or you can just lift all the way up into shoulder stand if you'd like, but I'm going to take plow first. So on the exhale, use momentum in the low belly to bring the toes toward the floor behind you. You can help yourself with the palms. Try not to dump the weight here. Go ahead and lift the feet. The ankles are in line with the knees are in line with the hips. The gaze is at the navel. So that transpersonal, the Earth Star chakra, the transpersonal Hara chakra ties into our thymus gateway and our causal, then the soul gateway, and then also the stellar gateway, the upper Virikosha, the ninth chakra. Also considered the ninth dimension. Go ahead and bring the knees down toward the hips. Vertebrae by vertebrae. They come back down toward the earth. Keep the feet lifted though. Reach the palms above the head and we'll take that bridge. Cosmic body to our physical body. The ankles are going to come underneath the knees. Lift the hips up toward the sky. Go ahead and bring the elbows into a T and then the spine down. The left arm is going to cross over the right arm. Pull the shoulders away from the ears and pull the shoulders down. You can keep the knees lifted. If you want to take a cross, this right thigh is going to cross over the left for a reclined eagle posture modification. Exhale, go ahead and bring this right shin toward the chest just to open up the hip a bit. We'll take a breath of fire here. It's totally optional. If it feels good just to relax, really listen to the body. If that's what's going to tune you into this higher energy of Christ consciousness, Christ, Archangel Christiel, and all of these ideas of breaking karmic patterns, awakening our light. Breath of fire. Job, yogis. Go ahead and release that down. You can pedal out the feet or do the knees side to side. This left is going to come over the right. And then this right arm is going to come over the left arm for that reclined eagle posture. Take it out into that T and then bring the left shin in toward the chest. You can help the right leg pressing toward the chest. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Remember, you can do Jai here or a streak of breath, a slower breath of fire. After this inhale and exhale, breath of fire. Very good. Go ahead. Go ahead and unravel. Knees can go side to side. We'll take both knees over toward the right when you're ready to cross, or just keep them stacked. Really feel through the low back. The knees can stack over toward the left. toward the center, and then exhale the final rest here, yogis. The right leg toward the right side, the left leg toward the left side. Take a deep inhalation. Exhale, relax. We'll slowly start to come back to our physical space. Inhale, reach the palms above the head, point through the toes. Good morning stretch. And then exhale, go ahead and bring the knees in. Whew, you can fall toward the left or toward the right side. And then inhale, we'll lift all the way up into a seat. And just having that unconditional positive regard for ourselves today. I like to end all of our classes with a round of AUM. Feel free to join. Take a deep inhalation here. Shanti, 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 yogis. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you very much for sharing Monday morning with me. Namaste. Awesome, yogis. Have a great day today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Raise